Shrike didn't die. He resigned. The Raven Guard have a new master, and the official story is just a little too neat. Imagine being the deadliest ambush fighter in the chapter and choosing to hand the throne to someone else. That just happened. The Raven Guard now answer to Ethon Shaan, not Aethon Shrike. And if you think that's just new model, same vibes, you're sleeping on a quiet earthquake. Tonight, we pull the lid off the official explanation, lay out what the sources really say, and ask the question nobody wants on record. Did the Raven Guard engineer a silent coup? You'll hear who Shaan actually is, why Shrike stepped aside, and what this power shift means for the Imperium. By the end, you'll know whether this was a noble handoff or a tidy cover story. If you like these forbidden files, hit subscribe so you don't miss the next one. Fact 1. Ethon Shaan is now chapter master of the Raven Guard. Fact 2. The official line says Shrike believed the chapter needed a more balanced exemplar of Corax teachings and willingly stepped aside once he found that warrior. That warrior is Shaan, clean, polite, very Raven Guard. The profile on Shaan adds more color. Recently elevated to Master of Shadows, veteran of multiple company commands, orchestrates campaigns from the dark, and only steps in at the perfect kill moment. That's the brand. Shrike's been the face of the Raven Guard since Severak's death. The new write-up says he realized the mantle didn't fit. He'd poured himself into the path of ambush and didn't model the full trifold path of shadow. So he scattered strike forces across Indomitus-era war zones, watched his commanders, and waited for the one who could lead better than him. That's the line. Read that again. That isn't demoted, lost a vote, or failed a campaign. It's framed as self-diagnosed imbalance and a planned abdication. It paints Shrike as wise enough to step back, not weak enough to be pushed. Which is an interesting way to protect a legend while changing course. Be honest, do you buy that a chapter master just decides to quit the top job because he's too focused on one combat doctrine? Or does that sound like politics said softly? So who is Ethon Shaan? His resume is stacked. He captained the 10th, the 8th, the 4th, and the 1st Company before climbing to the big seat. Centuries of combat, cool head, efficient campaigns. There's also a tasty lore thread. The write-ups connect Shaan to battles against Genestealer cults on Gelvia, Iron Warriors in the Strigneth system, and Orcs at Asia II. Wins achieved with minimal losses and maximum enemy pain. He even fought alongside Uriel Ventris in the novel The Chapter's Due. Translation: Shaan isn't conjured from nowhere. He's anchored in the lore. And then there are the Watchers, flocks of raven skull servo-automata that tail Shaan everywhere, feeding him data and symbolically representing Corax gaze over the chapter. It's surveillance and sacrament. On the tabletop, his datasheet matches the image. The Blackwing mantle gives free rapid ingress or heroic intervention for his unit. He has lone operative, and the claws of Severak let him hit like black lightning when he chooses to get his hands dirty. That's not a paper leader, that's a surgical finisher. So which story makes more sense? Option A, the noble handoff. Shrike assessed himself honestly. He wanted a Master of Shadows who embodied all three paths, not just ambush. He watched his officers through the chaos of the Indomitus era and chose Shaan, the calm blade that falls at the right second. Option B, the silent coup. Timing matters. Right as Games Workshop refreshes first founding heroes like Lysander and Shaan, we see Raven Guard leadership re-centered on a conservative archetype. Imperial fists get their poster captain back. That looks like a stability push across founding legions. If you wanted to protect Shrike's legend and recalibrate the chapter, you'd write exactly this explanation. He willingly steps aside for the good of the doctrine. No scandal, no schism, but the outcome is the same. So what changes under Shaan? Expect the Raven Guard to double down on macro-stealth campaigns, decentralized kill teams, long-burn misinformation, and assassination as strategy, not just spice. The Watchers are more than fluff. They're a visual doctrine. Corax doesn't roar, he hovers. On the table, Shaan's Blackwing Mantle makes reactive play his MO, free rapid ingress or heroic intervention for his unit. Pair that with deep strike, stealth and the claws of Severax, and you've got a commander who punishes overextension and turns late-turn windows into ambush kills. If Shrike was the tip of the spear, Shaan is the hand that decides when to thrust. Why change captains now? The text explicitly says Shrike scattered his forces during the Indomitus Crusade so he could evaluate his best commanders under real pressure, then made the call. In-universe, that tracks. Out-of-universe, it also lets the studio pivot Raven Guard to a leader modeled for jump pack stealth with a clean rules identity and a killer miniature. Both can be true. So here's the burning question. Did Shrike act from humility? Or did the chapter quietly choose a safer exemplar and give him a myth that looks like mercy? And one more thing, this sets up a spicy contrast with the Black Templars. The Templars now literally replace Oath of Moment with Templar vows as their army rule. They don't analyze, they promise, and they charge. Put that next to Shaan's patient surveillance state, and you've got a cultural clash that writes itself, vow versus shadow. In a joint theater, who blinks first? The Crusader who swore, or the shadow that waits? My read? The text says noble handoff. The timing says consolidation. Either way, the Raven Guard just traded a celebrity blade for a cold strategist with eyes in the rafters and talons for when it counts. If you're an enemy commander and the Ravens go quiet, it's already too late. So, did Shrike choose it? Or was he chosen? Drop your verdict and your best headcanon below. I'll pin the sharpest take.